Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Wright Human, cartoonist extraordinaire, and welcome to a project where I'm going to be actually redrawing a character from one of my backburnered series. I apologize that we're starting a little bit late. I got caught up working on doing some edits. This project, I'm doing a series of live streams to promote the cryptid anthology that I was recently a part of, that we are currently kickstarting. It is called Less Than Secret. And it has been absolutely fantastic, and it is exciting to be wrapping up. We are in the last 2 weeks of it. We are already working on stretch goals, and for every $1,000 additional that we're raising, we get to pay our artists more. So we're really trying to get those numbers up. And part of what inspired me to do this is a project that I've been working on with writer Ian Klesch, who's one of the other people working on the anthology. And the main character of it is a woman named Liz that I did a trial issue of the comic a while back. We never released it. It was to see what it would be like. I wasn't happy with the design for her, so I am going to take some time and see if we can't come up with something better. So let's start. Basic full body outline. Oh, I wanted to get that. It's always funny because the way you draw characters changes over the course of your career. I'm going to do a very basic frame just so I have something to work with. I actually normally don't draw the skeleton. I don't bother a lot of the time. But we're doing character redesigns, so let's make sure we have a basic frame we can work with. I'm going to adjust that chin a little bit. One of the places where I end up getting into a lot of trouble with this particular character is her head. Now, this is not necessarily going to be the shape that we end up with, but it's where we are going to start. For one thing that I had originally tried to do with this series is I wanted people's heads to be more distinct shapes. Not everyone was going to be completely round. And I kind of wanted Liz's face to be hexagonal. I think maybe having some curve in will help with that a little bit. So we start with a hexagon, ears on the side. Because where else would ears go? Gave her a fairly small nose. For some reason, I often pictured her with her mouth slightly open. Not in a confused or dumb way. Maybe inquisitive? Should probably be doing face last, but I often end up starting with the head. Always kind of gave her arched eyebrows. See, part of the problem is her face ends up very wide when you do this type of setup. And it's one thing I'd kind of like to get away from. I think I see part of the problem. Let's point. We can keep the basic chin point. Let's cheat it down a little bit. There we go. And for hair, I always drew her hair very angular with like those two front bangs. Behind flat. Here kind of comes out on the sides. I always like giving her kind of a short haircut. But here's where the problem comes in. All of a sudden, I'm going to turn off this back thing. Her face is very wide looking. And that ends up looking really weird. And am I crazy? Or before I added the hair, was it much less of an issue? Whoop. Oh, I went too far back. Yeah, as soon as I add the hair, the face looks way too wide. And until then, it's not bad. Well, then let's start trying to fix that issue. Let's see if a narrower face does it. I'm going to do a separate layer for the hair. In fact, I'm going to make the hair green just so we can see that. Am I crazy or does that look... The jaw still looks weirdly strong, doesn't it? Hi, Haley. I can see you there. Just wondering if you'd have a moment to join in afterwards. I was actually hanging with Haley right before I started the stream, which is a part of why I was late. We were working on some crazy memery. I was working on editing more of the replays for Until Dawn, which are going up on YouTube. There was a fun spot where one of the characters is listening to music and bopping their head, edited in classical music, and it did match whatever her head bop was going to. That's right. Haley is always ready for the crazy memery. So let's see. The ear is another place where this is becoming a problem. It's part of why this jaw looks as crazy as it does. Let's bring in, like, her head's turned to the side. Did that just fix the problem? Well, did not want to do that. Ah, stop turning off the wrong thing. Slide over. Wonder if that's the trick. Face needed to be narrower. Eyes and nose closer together. And when you see her face from the side, from that angle, the jawline is a little smoother. That might be what was needed. All right, let's go back to full body. Adjust this so it fits the head a little better. Now I'm going to start. This is one thing that I actually got in trouble for once back when I worked in an office, because I'd often draw at the desk. Back before I kind of knew how to do some of the stuff more cleanly is the wrong way to put it. When you're starting off, it's pretty common to draw your characters naked, effectively. Like I'm not going to do detail or anything like that. Hopefully not going to get demonetized, but I'm just going to start with the skin before I try to figure out the clothing. And I actually had a boss see that and think I was doing nudes. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to do any detail. I I need to know what that looks like. Just get the skin layer. Hips are probably going to be less wide. I could not going to bother doing foot detail unless we decide that she should be in open-toed shoes. And also have her a little bit flat-footed. Let's hide the skeleton for now. Okay, good reason to hide the skeleton. I made the body way too big. This is one of the dangers of doing digital art. In certain sections, it's very easy to zoom in and not notice you've made the proportions crazy. But thankfully, it's also a pretty easy fix. She is crazy tall. Let's shrink that a little bit. Computer, behave. I still have one of the Adobe programs open. That might be part of why it's being a little funky. Actually, be better. You know what? Slightly bigger head. First off, it tends to go well with my art style. Also, it's a little closer to what I'd originally gone for. So for basic clothing, I'm actually going to do another layer for this because I'm very rarely happy with how I do other people's clothing. I tend to do basically the type of stuff that I wear, or basic jeans and t-shirts. Made her very broad-shouldered, didn't I? So we're going to start with the t-shirt just to prevent possible demonetization. T-shirt. I'm going to give her long pants for now. We'll do a couple different outfits, but I just want to have flats. This is not going to be one of those comics where the character only ever wears one set of clothing. Broad shoulders, gang. Yeah, that's right. The result of my messing the stuff around. This arm became too long. It's all rough pencils. I'm just gonna do that. Okay, So this is our starting point for the character. Let's see where we can go from there. So basic face. People's faces don't actually change that much. So I don't know that beyond the basic head shape we need to worry too much. Question is she the lipstick type? Is she the makeup type? It seems a bit much. I don't think so. She's definitely the earring type. Like I've done that a few times in various versions of her design. Tend to like giving her long earrings. I think I associate long earrings with long hair. I don't know if that's actually a correlation that people do, but also played with having higher up earrings. I'm actually going to fill this in a little bit just so it feels more like. Should I actually do that on the layer that I actually used for hair? Let's do that. How do I feel about other piercings? Not a. So this is going to be an area where I'm a little outside my comfort zone, just because I personally don't generally care for piercings or tattoos or any of that stuff. But there's no reason the character wouldn't necessarily. So it's going to be a little tough. Nose stud's a possibility. Part of the issue also is, am I going to want to keep drawing it over and over again? Part of the issue with nose stud or something like that. Actually, first off, I don't know that I've seen a nose stud in a very long time. I think rings might actually be more common now. A couple different things. Septum piercings have been big lately, but lip. Again, this is a place where stuff is tough. Cartilage piercings. Are you talking about like when someone has a long piece that goes through there? So I could definitely mess with that. I actually think one of my characters from Legacy of L had that. Like that. Yeah, actually, I really like that. Nose stud, ear spike. I'm gonna have to run this by Ian at some point, because he's also the writer. He gets a lot of feedback on this. But he can just watch this replay and he'll be like, yeah, that looked good or that looked bad. That gauge that goes through the nose is a thing that some people have. I'm a little disinclined to do too much with piercings. Ears, definitely. But I kind of, drawing the face is such a distinct thing. I might hold off on piercings there. What I'm thinking I may give her tattoos. That's another thing that I'll be playing with. All right, we're going to set this. Do you have anything on our hands or feet? Now let's hold off on that. Let's do another outfit. What color should I use for this? Let's go orange. Some kind of hip wrap, which I'll figure out. It could literally just be a tied shirt or something like that. What pants would she wear with that? It actually makes sense to show off the shoulders more in this particular build. I need to fix those. It's going to drive me crazy. Actually, how about never thought these pants were a good idea, but let's try some capris. Are they shorts? Are they long pants? Are they long pants you outgrew? Make up your mind. There you go. Maybe some nice. Maybe some wedges. Ah. Those pants could be whatever they want to be. Fine, I won't judge the pants. I'll judge the person for choosing those pants. I'm just doing quick and dirty with these shoes. All right. Let us try. Go with the purple on this one. She does a lot of painting work an art restoration. So having a kind of dirty top shirt would make a lot of sense. I don't think she rolls her sleeves correctly. I think she rolls them up there. She's also doing a lot of restoration of an old house. So something comfortable she can work in and get dirty makes a lot of sense. Huh. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat and I got a spam bot. When did that happen? It happens. Grungy pair of work pants. I was thinking jeans, but maybe more like cargo pants. In which case, she'd actually probably need a belt. These might be your dad's old clothes, honestly. That, you know what? I'll bring that up with Ian. That fits with her character pretty well. You know, actually, this might be the one. Pretty pair of sneakers. I hate to say it, this might be the one I like the most, but it's also the most generic, like, this is how I draw everybody type of outfit. So we'll have to see. It is. That's right. It's a classic, but it's also a little boring. What I can do. Oh, something I actually thought about doing for this. Ooh, you need to turn both of those off. Just you. Because you wouldn't want to get your hair messed up. I need to look up how. Because it's technically a head kerchief. Okay. Still have the bangs maybe coming down the front. Or hair's pulled back. You can still kind of see it coming out the side. Gee, what would her hairline be like? It's an excellent question. Usually we see the bangs down. Should still actually see the hair kind of poking out the back. All right, I think it's time to have some. Oh, forgot I tied that into the outfit. I think it's time to have fun with the hair again. So I like the idea of her having the bangs coming down the side, but let me see what a less angular version of that might look like. Actually, that's interesting. What's it called when the hair, like the hair's a little long on top, then it's practically shaved on the back of the head? Uh, Give her rich clothing. Let's do that. Huh, I actually really like that. Let me. Undercut. Thank you, Haley. It's way too big. Let's see. Actually, no. Now that looks too much. Bring back some of the angularity if I mess with that. I actually think rounding the haircut and making it a lot shorter in the back, that might be what I've been trying to figure out. Here, I'm going to move all these into a folder. Full body. Let's work on just the heads. Space these out a little bit more. Should have an interesting sheet at the end of this. So maybe a low jaw, rounded at the tip. Always had her ears kind of poking out like that. And hair. Part of the trick is always, like, even with those front bangs, you always want the ears showing. She has a part down there. Her hair's high. I need to clean up that chin. I'm still not happy with it. Just too strong a jaw. It's not looking quite right for some reason. This is a character that I have designed and redesigned since, when did this idea first come up? It's been maybe 10 years. So when I say I've never been quite happy with the design, there's some time behind that. Let's do I'm always giving her a fairly small nose. That ended up too large. Maybe a bit of an underbite is the secret. Not anything crazy, but oh, too far out. Definitely out though. Like, that's part of the idea. The hairline. I mentioned that before. Hadn't really thought about it, but it's got to be kind of a weird hairline, doesn't it? I'm gonna shrink that ear a little bit. Have undercut kind of start there. Cool, cool. Thanks for joining me for a bit, Haley. I know this has been pretty quiet, but I'll see you at the next game. Just realized I did all this on the wrong layer. Easy fix. Oop. What tool am I using? Oh, that's the right tool. Why does it look funky? Oh, I picked the wrong green, that's why. All right. This is actually an angle where the hair is a little strange. That is what I need to do. Let's go back like that. Then sort of the undercut shaved section. Question is, do all these look like the same character? Not quite. Something's wrong with a couple of these. I can't quite put my finger on it yet. Let's see. A little bit better. Oh, there we go. That was needed. Erase a bit on there. Soften the brow. Doesn't change the fact that that first face, something's still off about it. Oh. So interesting fact about faces. If you've ever seen someone draw a face and it just does not look quite right for a particular character, there's a reason for that. Our brains are actually hardwired to be able to identify very small changes in facial expression. And as a result, if someone draws a face and it's not quite right, you immediately pick up on it. What's wrong with this first face? Why is it different? Because it's definitely different. I'm going to try something. Slight adjustment there. Actually going to adjust the hair on the third one too, because I just realized it's way longer on the bangs. It's closer to what we've got. Fill out the cheeks a little bit more. I just realized what's been bothering me. Oh, wow, this is actually really helpful. Like it works here. Let me look at the other face. Yeah, I see where the problem is. Let's fix this. If I can. I might just need to, yeah. All right, let's start with the shape that I originally had in mind. Like roughly a hexagon. Put the ear inside a little bit more. Nose over here. All right, here's where I was getting hung up before. Kind of need to think about the fact that this is the front of the face, right here. This is sort of the side area. Let us try the hair goes right about where the side of the face is. If it hugs it a little closer. The face doesn't look nearly as big than when I had it out to there. Like it was really throwing off my proportions. It wasn't as close to the ear. That's the big thing. I kept having it get too close to the ear. I think I got it very small again. Yes, I did. I'm going to go ahead and fix that. But we are on the right track. Not sure how I feel about this design. I'm also apologies to Haley. I am going to round the shoulders a little bit, just cut them down some. Just because I made her look a little bit jacked. That's not what I wanted. That actually, I think, works fairly well. Let me color in these parts a little bit. Yeah, I think that's the version of the short haircut that is going to stick. Oh, I never saved this, did I? I'll save it in the crypto folder for now. Okay, now let's get into some other stuff. I'm not going to keep this outfit because I think it's maybe a little much, but whoa, didn't mean to do that. Where was the outfit? What layer? There we go. Oh, right, because base stuff moved. I'm going to erase all that. I mean erase all that. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do an ink version of this. Hey, and I just saw you send me a text. If you're watching, hop in the chat. I actually can't look at the phone. Let's see. Looks like you asked about the bandana. Yeah, I did do a bandana version. Let me bring that up. It was this one. It's off alignment because I changed the head, but yeah, hair tied up. I was thinking something like this for when she's working on the house and stuff like that. Here was a thought for you. If you're still watching, you can hear this. It would make sense. It was actually one of her dad's outfits, and she uses work clothes. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be her stuff. It can be oversized menswear that belonged to her dad. I think that'd be a cool detail. All right, let's finish the same version. All right. Keep it at basic flats for now. I think she'd wear wedges. I think she might wear heels, but if you draw someone in heels, you have to redraw the entire body. So I'm not going to do that for design purposes right now. Let's just do that. I was actually wondering if she'd paint her nails, and because she works with art restoration, that's actually her career, I think she probably wouldn't, just because I got to imagine some of the chemicals she'd work with would mess up anything she did with her nails. Like, maybe she'd do it if she had a date or something like that, but not most of the time. All right. Part of the reason I wanted to do pink version, she still looks weirdly jacked. How do I bring that in a little bit? Let's mess with. Let's figure out some coloring for her too. I'm going to be messing around a lot with skin tones on this. I believe, if I'm remembering, because this character has been through a number of iterations, but I believe what we discussed most recently is her heritage is half, it's either half Caucasian, half East Asian, or half Caucasian, half African American. I can't remember. I think we settled on East Asian. I need a good, I think that'll be good. Let me take a look. Might be a little off, but it's a starting point. I'm probably going to change this. But we'll see. This actually doesn't look too bad. Might need to do some additional adjustment down the road. It's a lot easier once you have some flat colors in there, though. See what happens. This will actually make certain other cosmetic adjustments a little bit easier. Fill in the holes just so I can fill this. Ah, what do I have set wrong? There we go. Nope. Tell premature on that one. There we go. Now for hair, we went very dark on the main color. This might be something we play with. Because one thing I really wanted to do is have her hair tinted. It's the wrong tool. What do I want to use for this? Let's try that. That's better. Not all her hair, just maybe like that. We'll play with that. I've got a couple other colors I might want to try. Let's actually take a look at eye color for a moment. What would be good for that? Here's one specific idea I had with her eye color. I'm going to start with a just for S's and G's. Let's start with like a purple. No, it's not a natural eye color, but it's got a special ability that manifests sometimes. And I think it might actually be kind of cool if when her power was activated, you actually get a little highlight in the eye or specks in the eye, or almost a sepia tone. Maybe even the pupil changes. So almost like flecks of hazel in the eye. Let's see. How's that look? Let's go darker. And then the bottom layer is basically black. More something that's going to come up when specific stuff happens. I think maybe I did that backwards. Let's grab that little bit of and highlight. All right, I'm focusing too much on tiny little eye detail. It happens. Let's do what would a green top look like? Nope. And there was just a hole there. Go with almost a kind of picturing these. I guess another of my things I tend to do is draw everybody in jeans. Let's see. Head's way too small still, isn't it? I fixed that. Oh well. All right, these shoes are hideous. I'm gonna figure out a quick fix for that. I know nothing of shoes. This is going to look awful no matter what I do. Okay, basic working color set. This will give me the opportunity to work on some other details. Let's go with something I mentioned before, tattoos. If we decided we want to give her tattoos, I'm going to do a multiply layer, set it to about 50, should be good. Where would she have them? Let's start with inner arm, because that's often an interesting one. So some tattoo pattern that would show up here. That's what I'm thinking. Not using that color. I have absolutely no idea what tattoos she'd have. I'm going to start, though, thinking about where she might have tattoos. What would be good locations? Let's start. Let's just make it bright red. Now it's going to look like blood. Let's make it bright purple. I think this could be a good region for a tattoo, either arm. Wrist could be a good spot for it. Hip could be good. Easy for me. I won't have to draw it nearly as often. Maybe, you know what? A clavicle tattoo might actually make a lot of sense. There are back of the neck tattoos. I'm trying to think where my friends have tattoos. Shoulders. Normal. Yeah. Side of the legs, I know, is a surprisingly common place for tattoos. I'm going to go ahead and veto those. I think that's going to be a pain in the ass. Huh. Yeah. If Liz has ink, I think those are the most likely spots. Or on her back, but I think, no, I think she'd want to have the ink someplace where she, you know what? She'd want to have the ink someplace where she'd be able to see it. So let's go ahead and get rid of back of the neck, clavicle. You can see your shoulders. That's not an issue. Inner arm is actually a good place to. Inner arm is a good place for something she'd want to see, and wrist. I'm actually thinking wrist tattoo is the way to go. And I'm going to say left wrist because we planned Liz is left-handed. That's one of my ticks. I like the protagonists to be lefties because I'm a lefty and there aren't enough of us in media. I'm going to say she has ink. Going to be this wrist. It also might not even be visible. Like we have a reason for that. Like it might be an old tattoo that's been covered up. Let's go back to the question of piercings. Let's do this with yellow. I don't know that she would be using gold, but this will be easier to see. So I definitely think she at least has the basic earrings here. Spikes were suggested, which hold on. What layer am I on? It's on layer. Yeah, I am. Okay, good. Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be earring set 1. Be able to go through a lot of variations very quickly using this method. Spikes were suggested earlier, so let's just take a look at that. Maybe scoot you down a little bit. I don't know if that's Liz's taste, but we'll mess with it. I'm also going to go ahead and do spacers. See what that looks like. Spacers actually, I am not personally a fan of them, but they might make sense for the character. I can see it. Let's do new folder, upper lobe earrings. See what we end up with this. Let's do two. This is done, I should be able to just turn layers on and off to see what combination will work best. Okay. What is this called? Hold on, it was mentioned earlier in chat. Oh, I guess it wasn't. It was talking about something. I was talking about something else. But whatever those things are called. She could have a lot of metal in her head. Doesn't look awful. I think my favorite is that. And that might be my favorite, actually. Now, let's try never entirely understood nose studs because they look like zits. But what do I know about fashion? I'll admit, these I really don't get. It looks like something's hanging out your nose. Like something is hanging out your nose. This seems gross. All right. So now I have quite a few options programmed in. And I haven't even messed with makeup, which at some point will probably be coming up. But with everything on, that is a mess. But this will allow us to play with a lot of possibilities. I think that's still my favorite ears. Facial piercings, I'll probably go into with Ian and let him give me feedback on that. If anything, I think I like the eyebrow rings best for those, but I'm kind of on the fence on having them at all. So we'll see. I'm now going to also make makeup. Play a little bit with that. Starting off eye color just to see what would happen. Try switching it to hair color. Or just more blue. Think so at all. Let's try a lot darker. Nope, I'm deleting that. All right, this is going to have to be stuff we figure out. But I think we have some of the basics that I've been struggling with resolved. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call that a win. I think this actually solved a bunch of my problems, and I've been streaming for an hour and a half, so that's actually a pretty good time to call it. Thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully this project is something that we'll be seeing down the pipeline before too long. And of course, I'm going to be making more changes to this, but it gave me the basic idea of where I need to work and what I need to be playing with. I am doing this as a way of supporting a Kickstarter that I'm currently involved with. It for Less Than Secret, a cryptid comics anthology. The link for that is at the bottom of the screen. It is a fantastic project. We've already made goal, but now we're working on stretch goals, which will allow us to pay our artists more. So we're really hoping to take care of that. There are only 2 weeks left in the campaign, so I'd say hurry up and back it if you haven't already. And other than that, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next time. Rock on, guys, and never stop drawing.